campus of the University of Alabama. Live, local news from Alabama's home team. This is WVUA News at 6.
We are glad you're with us tonight. I'm Lynn Brooks. Philip Coleman has the evening off. We're following two big stories for you tonight. In Texas, the hunt continues for survivors from that deadly fertilizer plant explosion. More on that in just a moment. But first, we begin in Boston, where it's been a dramatic day of development. In Boston, the city's been on lockdown as they search for the second bomber. Stacey Cohen is in Watertown, Massachusetts, with the latest on that investigation.
The city of Boston and surrounding areas brought to a standstill in the midst of a massive manhunt.
Keep the doors locked and not open the door unless there is a uniformed, identified law enforcement officer on the other side of it.
Law enforcement and federal officials combing the area as schools and businesses shut their doors. At the center of the chase, 19-year-old Jahar Tsarnaev, identified as one of the suspects in Monday's bombings at the Boston Marathon. The other suspect, his 26-year-old brother, Tamerlan, was killed after a gunfight with police in the early hours of Friday morning, hours after the FBI released these surveillance photos. Those who knew Jahar, including a former wrestling teammate who did not wish to be identified, said he seemed like a normal teenager.
He was a really nice kid, you know. He was the kind of kid that would push me harder. Like he was a good fighter. He was an all-star wrestler.
But in Maryland, an uncle of the suspects said they brought the family great shame and urged the young man at large to surrender.
I say, Jahar, if you're alive, turn yourself in and ask for forgiveness.
A source briefed with the ongoing investigation tells CNN that a pressure cooker bomb was discovered during their pursuit of the suspects. It has been detonated. In Watertown, I'm Stacey Cohen.
And just in from the Associated Press, shots fired in Watertown. We're working to get more details on exactly what were the circumstances surrounding those shots fired. But again, the Associated Press reporting shots being fired there in Watertown. Of course, authorities continue searching for that second bombing suspect. Now, the developing story out of West Texas. Search and rescue crews still looking for survivors after a deadly plant explosion. Authorities say 12 bodies have been recovered from the fertilizer plant explosion. Around 200 people were hurt when that plant exploded Wednesday night. It leveled buildings for blocks around that site. Search and rescue crews are still sifting through the remains for survivors. About half the population in the town of 2,800 was evacuated, including a nursing home with more than 130 residents.
It is a neighborhood. It is devastated. It is still a very volatile situation, and our office is working very closely with the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and the state fire marshal's office to determine the exact cause of this explosion.
Okay. Authorities are still scouring the area, searching for survivors and answers. Meanwhile, back here in Tuscaloosa, A-Day is less than 24 hours away. Thousands of Alabama fans are making plans to head to the Capstone this weekend to see Coach Saban and all those favorite Tide players. WVUA's Jennifer Edwards joins us now live in our studio with more. Jennifer.
Thanks, Lynn. A-Day is a time for Alabama fans to experience a home game setting at little or no cost. So there are a few things to keep in mind before heading to Bryant-Denny.
This is an exciting weekend for us because we get to welcome our fans back to campus, but also we welcome a lot of people who don't have an opportunity to come during the regular fall season.
Because of this, UA Game Day Operations is reminding fans there are some things to keep in mind before heading to the game. One of those is parking.
The roads around the stadium will close at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and so you'll need to park outside of that area around the stadium. All the parking is free. The bus is free, and so people should find an abundance of parking options on campus that they can use to park and ride the bus to the stadium, or take a stroll to the stadium.
Johnson says it's also important to remember there's a list of items that cannot be brought into Bryant-Denny Stadium. Those include outside food or drinks, coolers, umbrellas, noisemakers, strollers, or flags and banners. Johnson says it's also important to remember all bags and purses must be smaller than an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper.
Fans that come regularly will see exactly the same security measures in place on Saturday as we do for a regular fall game. But for people who aren't used to coming, we just want to make sure that they understand that there are some things that we never allow in the stadium and to limit the size of their bag.
For more information about UA's game day events, just go to WVUATV.com, click on numbers and links. And you can catch your home team anchors at the North End Zone starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Plus, WVUA will have a special programming between 11 a.m. and noon with the Iron Bowl Hour, followed by a special A-Day edition of Crimson Tide Kickoff starting at noon. Lynn?
Thanks a lot, Jennifer. Alabama fans are rolling into town and gearing up for the big preview game tomorrow. WVUA found one couple set up in their RV lot behind University Mall. They told us they're excited about that game tomorrow, and they say coming to A-Day is a good time to experience an Alabama football Saturday without all the expense.
It's always been an event to me, but it's caught on for sure.
I think it gives everybody a chance that maybe might not normally come. They get an opportunity to see what it's like without having to have those season tickets or the things that make it harder to get to the regular games.
Alabama's regular season kicks off August 31st in Atlanta, Georgia. Country music fans lined up earlier today in Tuscaloosa to get their hands on some Brad Paisley tickets. He's one of the artists that the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater has on the schedule as they start their new season. Dozens of people showed up. WVUA talked to two Brad Paisley fans who waited in the cold to get their tickets. They say this concert season will be bigger and better than last year.
That Brad Paisley's going to start the season out. That's hopeful for what's to come. We already know John Mayer is here and he's going to be sold out, and I mean we're excited.
The guitars, the music, being outside, being with friends, you know, just having the opportunity to enjoy the outdoors, like she said, here, not having to drive an hour away.
For more information about this concert or others at the amphitheater, go to WVUATV.com and look under numbers and links. Still ahead to who's giving women a helping hand into the field of politics.
In straight ahead home team weather, the rain is out here. Clouds are moving out. Lots of sunshine expected for those weekend plans. I've got the full details in your forecast straight ahead, so stick around.
And Auburn fans will enjoy their beloved Toomer's oak trees one more time on Saturday before they're removed. Gary Harris will have the details in Alabama's home team sports.